Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the zBarb, and this is going to be my zBarb guide for Season 25. This is going to be for both EXP Barb and also for Push Barb. Merry Christmas. Hope you're enjoying the festive get-up. Unfortunately, there's been no content for the last few days. I've been sick, but I'm better now, so we're back smashing out the videos. As always, guys, a thumbs up does help us out. But yeah, let's have a little jump in and look at the zBarb now. This on screen now is the EXP Barb. So this is the XP Barb. So this is just with a view to getting as much XP as possible. There are plenty of things you can swap around for this to make it tankier or perhaps a little bit easier. But this is the spec that I've fallen on with the soul shards and with swapping everything around. It is pretty tanky. As you can see, our toughness 142 million before we do any of our buffs. So even with this setup, we do tend to pretty much stay alive, even when the game lags out, because obviously the inner monks, particularly on maps like Festering Woods or Battlefield, will lag out from time to time, provided we keep mashing buttons. Generally speaking, we do survive. Now, just in case you've never heard of a zBarb, Z obviously stands for 0 damage. This is a support build. Our job is to buff up the toughness of our teammates so that they can either deal more damage with their Squirt's necklace, which obviously the way that works is the less damage you take, the more you can keep up shields and things like that. Or it's a case of screaming at enemies so that they take extra damage. And we also provide move speed to the group as well. Now, the soul shards, I guess, are probably the two most important things. You can use whatever it is that you've got to start off with, but ideally you want a remnant of pain in one of your weapons. Now, you can run this as a spec with one weapon and one shield. You can run it as dual wielding, which I think is probably better because it means you can get the Gem of Ease in. But if you are using just one weapon, obviously you're going to want a soul shard and not the Gem of Ease. Now, this basically says that when we crit an enemy, the entire group gets up to 50% attack speed. Inner monks love this. Generally speaking, any damage build is going to benefit from attack speed. Obviously, there might well be exceptions to that, but in the meta that we've got at the moment, it's a lot of monks. It's zBarb, double monk, DH is the most common thing that we're seeing. We do get reduced crit chance, but any incapacitated enemies are automatically critted. Now, obviously, depends what monks you're with. Obviously, you can get incapacitated enemies with freezes from water monks. There are plenty of incapacitation effects in the game, so we do get this effect basically all the time for the group. 50% attack speed is obviously lovely. You don't need to worry about any of the other rolls on this. Doesn't matter what skill it rolls with or anything like that. You just basically want the attack speed one. Before this, I was using the one that gave the pool. So like the Rift Orb progress, extra progress is probably second best shout, I'd say. But generally speaking, you want this one for the extra attack speed. Now, in the helmet, we've gone for the Fragment of Destruction. You can get something like Intelligence on your main roll for this, which obviously is all res, which is nice for the Barb because our main stat gives us strength. We've got here kind of like an inbuilt Executioner, so when we do the Mark of Destruction and we walk with the Trail of Fire, we can kill stuff at 10% health. Obviously super handy for speeds because, you will be clipping a few enemies at 10% health for the group, which is nice. The normal property on this is we can move unhindered through enemies. That's like illusory boots baked into our helm, which is great. And we also get 1 second off our cooldown when a Mark of Destruction enemy dies. So this is like having a hat that is the illusory boots and also the Meshuggah's Reaver and also the Executioner all bundled into one. So obviously you can probably tell just the sheer utility of this gem is obviously great. We don't need to worry about the negative effect because we're very tanky and stuff gets obliterated before our health goes. So they're the two soul shards. Now, I guess if we look at the pieces and we'll talk through which ones are mandatory, and then we can, maybe talk about some options. Now, most of your toughness as a barb is going to come from the Band of Might. This doesn't have to go in the cube. It is probably best because 80% damage reduction is absolutely godly. Whenever we cast Furious Charge, Ground Stomp or Leap, we're going to be moving around with Furious Charge, Merciless Assault. We do also have Ground Stomp, so this really shouldn't be dropping. Obviously, if it does, you're going to know about it pretty quick, because 80% damage reduction is pretty massive. You're going to need yourself an Oculus Ring. People will get grumpy if you don't play with one of these. Try and get near 85% on the roll. Obviously, as the group kills stuff, it'll put the little Oculus circle on the ground for you. The DPSs can jump in it, and they can do a bunch more damage. Also essential is going to be a Pride of Cassius belt. This will increase the duration of Ignore Pain by 6 seconds. The rune that we have on here is Mob Rule. This will give everybody 50% damage reduction and also some CC immunity, which is obviously very handy. The other belt is the Chilanix Chain. This will give us a 40% move speed for the group once we cast Warcry. The rune on that is Veteran's Warning, so this is extra armor, extra all res for the entire group as well. You're going to need 2 pieces of Savage Set. So what this will do is it will double the effectiveness of any shouts, and also it says we deal double damage, but we don't need to worry about that. But Threatening Shout Falter basically has twice the effect, so this is a 50% damage increase whenever we shout at something, and obviously the effects of the Warcry are doubled as well. So I'd say they're pretty much the absolutely essential pieces. Strong Arms falls kind of into this category. Up to 30% increased damage for knockbacks. The Wrenching Smash Ground Stomp does count as a knockback, so when you pop it, it will suck enemies in. That does count as the activation. If you're the only support in the group, or you're playing in 2-player or 3-player, you need to drop this for NEMs if the ZDH isn't carrying the NEMs, or there is no ZDH, so that's kind of why they're not as essential. Next, I'd say it's probably going to be your gems. So we need the Gem of Efficacious Toxin, which is going to give basically everybody a 10% damage increase. And then after that, the other 2 that I like are the Gogoth of Swiftness. So this gives us dodge chance and also attack speed and cooldown, which is perfect. And then I've got the Esoteric Alteration in just because the elemental resist is absolutely huge. As I gain more Paragon, you know, maybe once I get up to 1500, maybe if some of these pieces get orged at some point, I will drop this for the Wreath of Lightning. But the elemental resist, so the non-physical damage reduction, is pretty nice. Now, I should have mentioned in the essential pieces is of course an Ingerm. This will allow us 10 seconds off our skill cooldowns. When it is activated, it means that we can Furious Charge completely for free. We just keep spamming it, spamming it, spamming it. If you don't have the Ingerm up, the Merciless Assault rune is kind of nice because it will take time off the cooldown whenever you hit something. Now, obviously, we are stacking quite a bit of cooldown in the build, so you know it's not that punishing if we miss. We've got about 45%. We could get this figure up higher, but it is pretty good. Now, for some utility, we've got the Hellfire Ring. This gives plus 45% experience on the secondary. We've also gone for 2 pieces of the Cane set. So in this instance, it is the Glove and Helm. This will give us an attack speed increase of 8%, speed up our animations, and give us a 50% XP boost as well. I've actually worked in 3 of the Born's pieces. So we've got the Born Sword. These are all craftable at Hadrig. Chest plate and also the shoulders. This will basically give us 15% life, so make us a little bit tougher, but the 3 pieces quite nice, 10% cooldown and another 20% experience. Now, Barbs, generally speaking, are renowned for the pickup radius, and the normal best in slot item is Rondell's Locket because this rolls with 6 pickup radius. Other than that, you really are looking for pickup radius as a secondary on most of your stats. Now, I don't have it on, well, I'm missing it on a few, so I could improve it. Nobody's really picked me up on it too much. Let's see, where are we? So I've got 22 yards. Now, obviously, it's not maxed out. You could get more. But again, the mess with the inner monks, with the ZDH, because everybody's got a little bit of pickup radius these days, and you've got a second very fast support, it's not as essential, but it is still a pretty desired stat. If you're doing rat runs, then the pickup radius becomes more important. So again, you know, there are some pieces I could look to improve. I think so. Like my helm, I could craft a new one. Pants, I'm probably on the lookout for, and then the rest of it, I'm probably fairly happy with. Also in the cube, we've got an Echoing Fury. You want this here rather than the Ingiome, simply because the Echoing Fury has got a pretty high chance to fear, which is very annoying. It will just cause the monsters to flee, so you negate that effect by putting it on. Now, if everything is being blasted fast enough, then you can, you know, if you've got a nice Echoing Fury, maybe take it and try it out. You do like the 10 seconds on the Ingiome though, because that is the coincidentally same period on the Furious Charge. So, you know, bear that in mind. You can have it either way, but I like it with the Echoing Fury in the cube. We've got all those gems in the chest and also in the trousers to buff up the toughness. And other than that, stats-wise, you basically just want pickup radius, cooldown, and then defensive stats. So strength, vitality, all res are the main 3 to pick up, and then latterly armor, because armor is just not going to be as high value as on strength. You know, you'll get an armor roll of, I don't know, 300-400. You know, the boots are quite a good example. 400 armor, but you can get up to 500 strength. So strength is going to be a little bit better to get. You definitely do want the 6 seconds on the Pride of Cassius, so don't be running around with one with 4 or 5 seconds on. It'd be better to cube that and have the Chelanix chain at, say, 33% or something like that. But obviously just kind of do your best. Now, this is by no means the only way to play this. I was playing without the Hellfire, and I had a Rogue on, and I was using 2 pieces of Crimsons. You can take yourself a Storm Shield instead of the Borns. If you want to put the Ingiome in the main hand, Storm Shield here, that will give you a bit more toughness as well. So there are plenty of other options. You can also take the Istvan Blades, which, you know, is how we play it when we push. Looking at the skills, we've got Threatening Shout, Falter we've covered, that's more damage for the group. Ground Stomp, Wrenching Smash is the grouping, activate the Strong Arm Braces. Sprint, Forced March, this is the only thing that costs Fury. It gives move speed to us and to the group. If you do take the Istvan Blades whilst doing speeds, which I have done for a while, you're going to have to activate this quite a bit, because this is the way you activate those for the extra armor and attack speed. Warcry, Veterans Warning we've covered. Furious Charge, Merciless Assault we've covered. Ignore Pain, Mob Rule we've covered. Passives wise, Cheat Death, obviously, you know, you can lag out, so it's just kind of handy. Inspiring Presence makes the shouts last longer, and also get some life regen. Relentless, just in case we do take a pretty big hit, we get an extra 50% damage reduction. Life per Fury spent is doubled, that kind of stuff. And Pound of Flesh for a bit of move speed. I'm not sure if I covered the Echoing Fury in terms of what it does. It does give us 25% move speed and 75% attack speed when it is fully stacked at 5 stacks. Now, other things that you can consider is you can consider doing... where is it? Sword and Board, 30% damage reduction is pretty huge. That is a nice bit of toughness if you are going for the shield and also for the Ingiome. You can also take Tough as Nails for a bit more armor, Superstition for a bit more non-physical damage, but these are the kind of passives that I like. Now, you can also play Barb with Whirlwind. So you take the Bulkathos Blades, and instead of Wrenching Smash, you're going to use Whirlwind with Hurricane, and that is going to suck stuff into you, and that's going to activate your Strong Arm Braces. You get 45% move speed, as well as getting the Fury generation, so you can do it that way. You can put an Aquila in for, you know, 50% damage reduction, because you're always going to be at max Fury with that particular spec. And then where is my other Barb? So this is the one with the Istvan Blades and the Crimsons. This is tankier. Obviously, you need the Rogue, so you can afford to take the Wreath of Lightning, because Crimsons will give you 20% cooldown, 20% resource cost reduction, and then the second stage of it, so the 3-piece will give you resource cost reduction equals damage mitigation. And that means that you can take resource cost rolls and be pretty tanky. So this is kind of a tankier way to play it because, 45% armor plus the Crimson's damage reduction. But obviously you are missing the Hellfire, so you are missing out on some XP. But, that plus the Borns, I think we're losing 65%. So it is kind of what it is. Gem of Ease obviously gives XP per kill, which is nice. Yeah, and I think that is pretty much how we're playing the Barb. Don't change any of the skills on this. But as I say, when you start out, you can start with, this would have had an Ingeum and a Storm Shield here. I think that was kind of how we started out. And another item went to get you going instead of a Hellfire if you can't be bothered doing one. Do I have one? Doesn't look like it. Leoric Signet, which is a ring that's got, I think, up to 25% XP on. So that is another one. Now, this season there's so many options because we're very flexible. You can take all guilds if you wanted damage reduction. I had a crazy idea to take the Hallowed Protectors set for the all res and attack speed. So honestly, there's like so much you can do with the zBarb. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Now, the push spec, all that we really swap for this is it's similar to the tankier speed version. So we do have the Crimsons and the Rogue. We sacrifice the Hellfire because we're not that bothered about the XP. We do take the Istvan Blades for the extra armor and attack speed. And then for this, we're going to swap to a Flavor of Time. Pickup radius is not quite as important. The double conduit is going to be very important for us. And then we are actually going to put the Executioner in a cube just in case we don't get the Executioner property activating on the Fragment of Destruction. If we don't kill it in time, we're still getting the value of the Executioner. But again, it depends how fast the group's killing stuff, so that slot could be kind of free. Now, for the push, you're going to take off the movement speed, which is Sprint, Force, March, and swap it for Ancient Spear, Rage Flip, and then you're going to use the Rage Flip basically to group. Now, one thing you need to bear in mind with playing with Inner Monks is they don't really like the big pulls. You don't need to group everything and stack it with your Wrenching Smash. You're looking to make smaller pulls so that the Inner Fire, Monk, ally things can basically one-shot the elites and concentrate all their damage on them. But other than that, it's pretty much the exact same gameplay. We're providing a lot of move speed, we're providing a lot of damage, we're providing an awful lot of toughness and damage mitigation. The soul shards don't change. The helm one, I think you probably could change out. I haven't got one as of yet, but I'm looking to unlock some of these. And we would be looking for the Ring of Fire, because I think that probably, when we start pushing, would be better, because the Ring of Fire obviously would help out with a bit of damage, and the longer it takes you to kill stuff, the less useful the Mark of Destruction is. Again, Executioner could possibly be swapped from the Messerschmitt's Reaver on the push. Pushing with the zBarb, I tend to play it on non-season with the Messerschmitts. So again, it's what I'm getting at is they're all the options. Hopefully I've explained them, and then you can kind of choose, which items suit you the best. In terms of playstyle, realistically, it's not too hard to play. You could pretty much just mash all of the buttons, and you would be absolutely fine. Try and hit something with Furious Charge if you can, because that means the cooldown is refreshed. Keep popping your Ignore Pain, keep popping your Sprint, just to make sure that we're all covered with move speed, damage reduction. Make sure you're tagging everything with Shout whenever you stop. Ground Stomp will pixel things to you, so obviously you need to get kind of near to the DPS monks when they stop to set up, and normally speaking, I'm ahead of them. They'll come to me. Once me or the ZDH will find something, we'll then press G, drop your flag. Always drop your flag playing with randoms, because it's easy for things to get missed, and then you basically just sucking stuff into you, shouting to make sure it gets tagged, making sure you keep up your Ignore Pain, and then once it's killed, your Ingeum goes off, and then you can pretty much just Furious Charge around Now, one little tip is sometimes when the ZDH, because that's a role I've played quite a lot, sometimes, like, let's say this was a pylon here, just a little gameplay tip, sometimes there can be loads of crap around it. It can be quite hard for the ZDH to actually click it. So what I like to do is, if I'm getting to a pylon and it looks fairly busy, I'll just do a little pixel just to the side of the pylon, just to suck stuff off, just to give the ZDH a little kind of way in to click it. But yeah, that's it. It's really easy. It's a great way to get Paragon. I haven't played this account too much this season, but we're already kind of just under 1200. Very easy to find a group. There's not that many people playing Barb this season. It is an in-demand role. Yeah, and the toughness, you'll easily do 150s as a zBarb, you know, and there are lots of things that we can do to add a bit more. You know, if you really want some more toughness, it's not that hard to get. Storm Shield, and also, you know, stick on the sword and board passive, and you'll be absolutely fine. So that is it, guys. That is the guide on zBarb. I hope you found it useful. I think we had some random 125 footage in the background. That was shot with complete random people. I wasn't using this spec then. I think I was using a slightly tankier one, but this is the one that I've favoured over the last kind of couple of play sessions. But that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Merry Christmas. I've been Filthy Casual. Take it easy, guys. Peace.